I might do a couple of distracted things while the opening plays. I'm gonna actually turn up the game sound because last time I was listening to one of my Cinderella Phenomenon VODs and I could like barely hear the music for the opening song, and I like the opening song, which is why I always let it play. So, ba-doo. Hello game. Yes, good. Okay, everything looking good.
In a monochrome world, working from the side through her lonely eyes. It reflects the ocean and stars, but her cry echoes around the simple loss of love in her heart, making this whole fairy tale alive within sorrow's tender embrace. This was never meant to happen. The only reason you have to stay. Hear me sing my song and just keep holding on. Cinderella, why don't you stay with me tonight? We will dance until midnight comes and we could run away. Oh, we will never ever be apart.
I mean, you're welcome to be. You're welcome. I have. Oh, let it finish. Okay, so we have completed Rod and Karma's Fruits. We're going into Rumble next. And anyway, Tapao, you are welcome to redeem for the Penguin Kigurumi if that is what you would like. It's there as a channel point redeem for, like, people to use, so. Oh, wow. There are also, I've had multiple people tell me they're saving up to get me to sing a song, which is a little, like, I put it there. I mean, well, sure, that's fair, but like, I'm perfectly comfortable with the price of the Penguin Kigurumi because I think it's a fun little bonus that's slightly more involved than the penguin hat. If anything, I might, do the sing a song a little higher once too many people start getting that amount, but only if people actually start using it and I start to feel self-conscious about it. Alright, so yeah, so we are continuing where we left off with chapter 1. Oh, what am I gonna sing? I have an entire YouTube playlist of karaoke backing tracks of, like, all sorts of stuff. A lot of Broadway, let's be real. And also some, like, you know, pop music, even some more obscure artists that you can sometimes find karaoke tracks for that not everyone, like, will know the artist, but I really like the song. So basically just a whole bunch of songs that I really like. Like, I mean, I can't just... I'm not willing to sing things that I don't already at least kind of know, so, like, it's not gonna be, like, the person who redeems the thing gets to make the choice, but I will encourage some input. So, like, oh, hello, Ice Starmie! We were talking about my channel point redeems, and, how one of them is to have me sing a song, and Tapao was asking me what I would sing, and, in general, like, I have a saved up list of karaoke tracks, and most of them relate to Broadway musicals. So, that's a good chance I'd probably pull something from that. And you know, some popular music as well, but a lot of Broadway. I am a big musical fan. Alright. So I'm gonna say let's get to it. In chapter 1. So as I talked about last week, I'm planning to do about half of chapter 1, and then I will do the other half next week along with chapter 2, since chapter 1 is so long and chapter 2 is so short. I want to try to break it up so that it's 2 slightly more evenly lengthed streams. I mean, that's fair, since it is a Cinderella Phenomenon stream. If I got that redeemed on a Cinderella Phenomenon stream, I could always sing the opening theme of the game. I'd have to... I feel a little awkward singing over someone else's singing, but I mean, not a big deal. If I just pulled up the lyrics, I could do that, for sure. Or maybe I could pick one of the songs from your, list of fan song associations. That could also be fun. Anyway. That is hopefully for now, that is a theoretical later, topic. So, alright. When I open my eyes, I'm still on the streets. I must have fallen asleep. Lucette thinking to herself. But the nightmare continues. I'm cold in my rags. I hold myself for warmth, willing some of the cold away, but fail. My feet are numb and in pain. Oh, sorry. I clicked that a little too fast. My feet are numb and in pain, caked in a dirt that I have gathered from walking barefoot around town. Noblewoman A. Well, there's a frightful sight. Noblewoman B. Beggar probably thought she could try her luck with the nobility that live around here. Noblewoman A. Ah, just look how ragged she looks. Lucette. Silence. Noblewoman A. Shocked. What are you looking at? Lucette. At 2 women that lack the basic manners of a noble upbringing. Noblewoman B. Silence, girl! Do you know who you're talking to? Lucette. No, and I do not care. Noblewoman B. Shocked. What nerve! Noblewoman A. Let's just go. There's no reason to stoop to a commoner's level. Let's see. At some point remind me to talk to you about the themes for sound commands. Noted, noted. Oh, you would like if I sang one of the songs you suggested. Oh yay, I'm glad that you liked No Good Deed. I've actually not finished listening to all of the songs you recommended, but I've listened to a couple of them and like so far, like 100% agree with the connections made. So, alright, Lucette thinking to herself. I will remember you, and once I break this curse, I will make you regret your words. I become acutely aware of the fact that I have not eaten anything for almost a day. I have been sitting here, thinking on the new mess that is my life. Lucette thinking to herself. But moping around will not break my curse. Crying will not help either. I should find that witch first, but how? I have no idea where she is. Out loud. Delora. Thinking to herself. I swear I will make you regret doing this to me. When I find you, Silence. Out loud. I will find food first. Lucette thinking to herself. Is this all the king thinks I am worth? Man. Leave, girl. A dirty peasant like you has no place in this restaurant. Lucette. But why? I can pay. Man. Find another place. You're scaring away my customers. Lucette. Am I not a customer? Man. Shoot, there's nothing for you here. Lucette thinking to herself. He just swatted me away like a fly. The nerve! Sensing that this will get me nowhere, I ball my hands into fists and walk away. I get the same treatment at the next 3 restaurants I try. I am treated as something less than dirt, like my money has no real value. Lucette. I am the crown princess. They have no right to turn me away like this. I have been eating stale bread, anything to keep the hunger at bay. The bread barely helps. Lucette. Silence. Out of the corner of my eye, I notice a small bakery. There are croissants on display that make my mouth water. Slowly, I begin to make my way over there. Lucette. Ow! My feet ache with every step. They look and feel even worse than before. Okay, I'm gonna go... Oh, hi, Nason! Oh, Tapao, thank you. I was like in the flow of the story. I didn't notice that my chat had moved so much. And Tapao, thank you for being on top of the shoutouts. Thank you very much. And also, hello, Nasa. Alright, Lucette thinking to herself. If only I had enough coins for a pair of shoes. But food is more important. If the rags that I am wearing and the pouch of money are all that I have, then I need to prioritize. Lucette thinking to herself. And I will die before I beg. Out loud. 2 croissants. Shop owner. You'll need to pay, girl. There are no free handouts here. I take a coin from my pouch and hand it to her. Lucette. This should be more than enough. The shop owner stares at the coin before reluctantly taking it. She hands me 2 croissants in a paper bag. Shop owner. I will not ask where you got those coins. Lucette. Silence. Are you implying that I stole them? Shop owner. How else would a beggar like you get that amount of coin? Now be off with you, child. I won't have you scaring away any other customers. Without another word, I turn and start to walk away from the woman. Lucette thinking to herself. So this is the goodness of the people of Angiel. I take a bite out of one of the croissants, cringing a little at the dryness. Man A. Hey, girl! Lucette, thinking to herself. What now? Man B. We saw you at that shop. Want to share how you got those coins there? Lucette. Silence. Excuse me? Shocked. Man A. Look at her, brushing us off like she's royalty or something. Lucette. Let me go! Man B. You ain't no better than us. Now be a good girl and hand over that pouch. The man on my left grabs at my pouch and attempts to yank it away from me. Lucette thinking to herself. I will not let these brutes take anything from me. I elbow the man in the stomach, then aim a kick at the other man's shin. I have an opening, and I take it. Man A. What? I pull myself free and begin to run as fast as I can. Man B. Hey! Lucette thinking to herself. Where do I go? I'm not familiar with the streets at all. It's highly likely I'm just going to hit a dead end. Where should I go? Let's see. Yes, Nason playing the new Kirby. There's a new Kirby game that just came out. It looks very cute. Kirby is usually pretty cute. Let's see. Alright, so every other time I've done this, every other time I've done this on stream, I believe I've had Lucette go left, which is when Karma finds her. And so this time we're gonna go right. Boy. Hey, this way. Lucette. You're... Waltz. No time to talk, princess. Lucette. How do you know who I am? Man A. There's another one! Stop running, you two! Lucette. Shocked. Waltz. Come on! The boy grabs my wrist and pulls me after him. He takes off with a sudden burst of speed, and then I am running even faster than I just was. I am not entirely convinced following him is a good idea, but at least the boy seems to have a better sense of direction than me. Lucette. Oh! Our running causes rocks in the pathway to come loose, and before I notice them in my path, I step down hard on them. A sharp pain shoots up into my foot, and I collapse to the ground. Lucette. It hurts. Waltz. Princess! I try to stand, but the pain in my feet is unbearable. I fall back down into the dirt with a gasp. Lucette. I can't. Man A. We've got you now! Man B. Just hand over your coins and neither of you will get hurt. Waltz. I won't let you touch her. Man B. Ha! Says the little boy. Man. Is that a third? Oh, yes, that is a third. So, man who is not Man A or Man B. Well, well, well. What is this ghastly sight before me? 2 adults threatening a child and a lady. How very ungentlemanly. Man A. What are the likes of you even doing around this neighborhood? You asking to get fleeced? Man. Asking? Perhaps I am in the mood for a scuffle. The nobleman brandishes his sword, his expression confident, maybe even cocky. Then, show me what you've got, sirs. And please, don't bore me. Lucette thinking to herself, who are these people? Man B, I ain't dealing with this for the money. He's got a sword. Man A, what? Come back here, you coward. The two of us could take him. No, you couldn't. We know from the previous run, y'all could not take him. Man, I think your friend has. Oh wait, no, that's Cardinal speaking. Okay. I think your friend has the right idea. I'm not the type to show mercy. Man A, shocked. This is way too much trouble for a little gold. Waltz, you're late. Man, sorry, kid. You know how hard it is for me to be invisible around here. Waltz, wait, what did you just call me? Man, at ease, small one. Lucette thinking to herself, these two know each other? I don't even know what's going on anymore. I feel ill. My head is pounding and my feet feel simultaneously like they are frozen and on fire. My stomach rumbles, the hunger coming back with a vengeance. Lucette thinking to herself, my body feels light. Waltz, hey, princess! Princess! Men, calm down. Parfait will be able to help her. But for now, we need to move before anyone else sees us. Waltz, yeah. Waltz continues, don't worry, you're safe now. Lucette, silence, thinking to herself, everything is fading. Alright, let me now catch up on... Oh, haha! Didn't even know. Let's see. That is... Bear! The bot. Aw, you can't both be a Kirby when you are playing 2-player on Kirby. The second player has to be a Waddle Dee. Oh no! Chat kept hiding the message. Well, thank you for reporting and banning. But oh yeah. I had some trouble figuring out how to delete messages too. There was like you have to go into the chat settings and enable mod mode, and then you'll be able to see a little button to ban, timeout, or delete the message for each message. Like, ban or timeout the user, or delete the message. So, I just have that up for my streams. I turned that setting on, and now I just have it on all the time, so. But thank you for keeping an eye on things, to Pow. Alright. Lucette, out loud. A dream? Oh, it's one of those flashbacks. Alright, the usual content warning, emotional abuse. Her mother did not treat her well. Mother, what is that in your hands, Lucette? Young Lucette. It was hurt. I just wanted to help it, but it died. It is all my fault. Mother, it is not your fault, my love. It died because it was weak. Young Lucette. But... Mother, this is the world, Lucette. Only the strong survive. The weak get cast aside to die. You are not weak. You are strong, my crown princess, and you do not cry. Now wipe your tears. I don't want to see you cry again. Do you understand? Young Lucette. Yes. Mother. Now get rid of that thing and wash your hands. Young Lucette. Silence. Mother. Did you not hear me, child? Young Lucette. Yes, Mother. Yep, so as usual, that is messed up. There is nothing wrong with crying, especially children. Like, oh, telling children that they shouldn't be crying is just... Oh. Like, crying is a very natural response to overwhelming emotions, and people should not be made to feel bad about crying. I have very strong opinions about that, especially since that is a modern day problem that so many people are told, like, you know, shamed for crying, and I think that's messed up. I think it's a natural bodily function that is a, like, cathartic response to, like, you know, it's a way to release when you're just having too many emotions, and, like, I am very pro-crying if you need to cry. Oh, I don't have a CW command for this game, but I should. Yeah. I'll have to do, like, I'll have to separate them out. I should edit the command so there's, like, CW Scarlet Hollow and CW, Cinderella Phenomenon. The content warnings are way less bad for Cinderella Phenomenon, but, like, you know, the emotional abuse from the parent angle is pretty bad. And I mean, I might just have a comment on, like, there is, you know, although this is, like, a nice, like, you know, there's talk of genocide. That's a thing in this game. That's a content warning. So yeah, there's enough things. Yeah, I'll look into that. Obviously not while I'm streaming, but once I'm done with this stream. That's a good thought, Pao. Thanks for pointing it out. Like, I can verbally do the content warnings, and that's, like, fine in the moment, but I really like having the content warning command for the other game, so I think I will... Yeah, fair. Just anytime there's a flashback, just content warning. Parental emotional abuse and gaslighting. Alright. Lucette. Silence. Girl. Oh, you're awake. Lucette. Where am I? Girl. Ah, well, Lucette. This isn't my room. Lucette. Shocked. My hand flies to my chest, where the little glass slipper hangs from my neck. Thinking to herself. Still here. Girl. Are you okay, miss? Lucette thinking to herself. This girl is the maid that tore Dolores' dress. The one I fired for her clumsiness. Girl. Miss? Lucette continuing to think to herself. To think that I would meet her again here, like this. Silence. Girl. Lucette. Leave me alone. Girl. Silence. Lucette. Silence. Girl. Right, of course. Here's some salve I made for you. It'll help with the pain. Lucette, out loud. Now what? Delora. Haven't thought at all, have you, Ice Princess? Lucette. You! Suddenly, there she is. Dolores stands before me with a snide smile, looking happy with herself. Lucette, thinking to herself. She is the cause of everything I have been through. All of the pain, heartache, and hunger. It is her fault. I try to stand, thinking to give the witch a piece of my mind, but as soon as my feet touch the floor, pain shoots up my legs. I end up falling back to the bed. Lucette, out loud. Ow! Delora. You should be more grateful to the girl you just scared away. She's been taking care of you for the past 2 days. Lucette. 2 days? Thinking to herself. I've been passed out for 2 days? I am suddenly vibrating with anger. Out loud. Remove the curse. Now. Delora. Ha! Do you think you can just command me to remove the curse in your best princess voice? Lucette. What do you want? Gold? Delora. What I want is worth more than all the gold you could summon an NGL princess. Besides, haven't you read your fairy tales? The caster cannot take a curse back. You need to focus on breaking the curse yourself if you want your life back. Nason, when you come visit, I can show you how my bot is set up, and I can help you set one up too. Technology repels you, but your husband is good with tech. Well, I can show you and I can show you and your husband since you're both coming to visit, so. Yeah. I'm very excited. My sister is coming to visit me. Captain Kiarder, being my sister, is coming to visit in really just a few days. So that'll be fun. We might do some kind of joint stream while she's here. And yeah, like, absolutely, I will happily help you set up a bot. Oh, I mean, fair. Alright, so back to the game. Lucette says, Mother burned all the books before I could read more than 1 or 2 of them. Lucette thinking to herself, I do not think either involved curses, just genies and trading away your voice for legs. Lady. Ah, it's good that you're awake, princess. Delora. Parfait, should you really be up and about? Parfait. Don't fuss, I'm feeling much better. Lucette. Are you a witch as well? Parfait. Oh no, my name is Parfait and I'm a fairy. Lucette. Silence. Thinking to herself, a witch and a fairy in one room, being friendly with one another? Impossible. Delora. Oh, look at her face! You weren't expecting that at all, were you, princess? Lucette out loud. What is going on? Parfait. I'm sure you have many questions, princess. Lucette. How do you know I am the princess? Delora. Don't be silly. She's a fairy. Of course she knows. Parfait. I promise we'll do our best to answer your questions. Alright, I'm gonna say, like... Sorry, just distracted. Are they gonna be gone by the time my partner's visiting, or are we all creating all sorts of stream interruption overlap? I mean, they're only visiting for a couple days this time. Yeah, and Ice Starmie coming in. I'm not saying she was right, but considering the fairy tales caused the witch hunt that led to the Great War, I can kind of understand why Lucette's mothers disliked the fairy tales so much. Oh yeah, 100%. Like, yeah, no. There's lots of things where it's like, not saying Lucette's mother was right. Lucette's mother had been, like, clearly kind of corrupted by the Tenebrarum and had gone, like, full evil, but, like, she was very much, so then let me be evil, because of the way humans were treating witches. And so, like, I can understand, she wasn't right, she got to a place that was too far, and, like, the things she did weren't right, but I can 100% understand how she got there, and why she would be so tetchy about the fairy tale books themselves. Yeah, she mentions that she read Aladdin and she started reading The Little Mermaid, but she didn't finish The Little Mermaid because her mother caught her reading the story. Oh, Tapao says, you are lying, Parfait. A lying liar that lies. Yeah. Oh, fair enough. You have a song that you want to pick for me to sing. Okay, noted. If you do my channel point redeem for that. But yes, no, right. So yes, Parfait is kind of a lying liar who lies, and they are still, like, keeping lots of shit from Lucette, and it will still be a while before they finally actually tell her, and so far in each route, there's been something that's come up that's made them feel forced to tell her, and it's kind of annoying. It would be nice if they would just tell her without feeling like they were forced to. Yeah, and the game tends to talk about Parfait as if she's picture perfect, too pure for this world, and it's just not true. Yeah, Parfait is a very flawed person, although I actually really like my headcanon, which is that, like, yeah, it's unfortunate that everyone thinks that she's perfect when she's really not, but my headcanon is that one of the reasons that Parfait is kind of useless and doesn't get shit done is because just like the witches can fall prey to the, can be kind of corrupted by the Tenebrarum, which is the crystal of all the darkness, you know, the dark emotions. I wonder if fairies actually can be, like, can succumb to the influence of the light crystal and basically just have too much lighthearted emotions and basically start to see the world with rose-colored glasses and not take things seriously enough because of that. Like, and I wonder if in fact she's like, oh, everything will be fine because at the end of the day nobody really wants this, right? Oh, what do you mean there's a whole war? Oh, I'm sure things will be right. Like the sort of good vibes of, like, that she is blinded by the light happy emotions and therefore struggles to recognize or acknowledge badness when it's happening around her, and she could and should be intervening. Like, I also feel like she gets a bit doormatty with Delora and lets Delora get away with a bit too much, and that's the same thing, really. It's like, oh, well, you know, I wouldn't want to be mean. And so, like, I just wonder if it made her lose her capacity to take any kind of aggressive action, and not even just aggressive, but, like, assertive. So, sorry. Let me go through. Oh, no good deed has to happen. That's fair. Yeah, talking about my channel play redeems, and you know the previous. So Starmie says, you know the previous Tenebrae bearer was clearly wrong in many things, but she has her side of the story, and the game doesn't properly show her side of the story aside from the few mentions. This is even one of the reasons that motivated me to write a poem about the previous Tenebrae bearer. Oh, that's cool. And then T'Pau, and the thing that I laughed at earlier was T'Pau came in saying, Delora is clearly the top in that relationship. And that reminds me of a thing I was going to say before, where I'm like, look, Parfait has many flaws. Delora has many flaws. I do generally think that they're both kind of trying, they just aren't good at it. Kind of like Gennaro. He's usually kind of trying, he just isn't good at it. And isn't trying hard enough or in the right ways. I feel like that's kind of the same thing that they're doing. However, regardless of my individual opinions on them as people, I do heckin' ship it. Like, I ship, like, Parfait and Delora so hard. Like, you would, like, it just, they just very much have the vibe of two people who are in a romantic relationship to me. And so therefore, yeah, Delora is clearly the top in that relationship. Oh yeah! Okay. So Ice Army says, in the fan disc, they actually do mention that while Parfait was already optimistic, the influence of the Lucis made her even more so. But then again, they also mentioned that the Lucis was very weak during the war. I mean, maybe that's what got her to the point where she finally intervened, right? Like, they talk about how, oh, she didn't, like, she just kind of sat around watching it happen until things got so bad, like, that got, like, extremely bad, and then she felt she had to intervene. And I wonder if one could argue that that's because the Lucis crystal started weakening and her rose-colored glasses finally started coming off, and she was like, oh shit, this is actually really bad and I have to do something. So on some level I wonder if that was even intentional by the authors and they just did kind of a bad job of it. Because they do kind of have all the other characters be like, oh, but Parfait is so good, and it's like, yes and no. Anyway, so Parfait, claiming something that is only partially true, says, I promise we'll do our best to answer your questions. Lisette, silence. Thinking to herself, I don't even know where to start. Parfait. What would you like to know? Alright, so we're going to go down through all of the questions, and I'm going to take a break. I'll read what's currently in the chat, but I'm going to take a quick break from chat just so we can get through all the questions, because it's like, we've all already seen them, but I like having each run, like, if I'm going to do the early chapters that are the common route, I'm going to do them proper, so we're going to go through all the questions. They mentioned that it was someone who came up with a plan and motivated her to act, but it's a spoiler. Alright, noted. I will look forward to learning more about that. Alright, so going down the list of questions. Lucette first is going to ask, why was I cursed? Delora. Seriously? You're really going to ask that? Delora, yes, she is, because she obviously doesn't know. Like, it may be super obvious to you, but, like, she doesn't see the problem, or else you wouldn't have felt the need to curse her. Anyway. Lucette, I wouldn't have asked if I knew the answer. Delora, you have such a temper on you. Very well, this one's got a simple answer. It's because you're a cold-hearted, cruel, wicked princess who deserves to be punished. Parfait. Delora, a curse is the only way to force you to change your horrid ways. Parfait. Delora, you could have put that more nicely. Delora, I'm pretty sure I was already being nice. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, do you remember what Delora said? Delora said that they defeated the Tenor Bearer with the help of an unexpected ally, and the ally was the one who came up with the plan and motivated Parfait to ask. Alright, noted. But yeah. I still think that Delora doesn't actually, like, internally Delora's thoughts are not that harsh. I think her goal here is to try and shock Lucette, because I think the whole goal of this curse is to shock Lucette out of her bubble and get her to start caring about other people. I just think that this was a really dumb way to do it, but if they didn't do it this way, we wouldn't have a story, so I'm not gonna... I believe we've already had the discussion about how there are so many other ways they could have gone about this. They could have been involved in Lucette's life from years and years ago, and they just weren't, and they decided at the very last minute, oh, I guess we should check on, like, how she's doing, like, in the year before her birthday. Oh, shit, this isn't good. Anyway. Lucette. Change? Why do I need to change? Delora. Are you completely unaware of how heartless you are to other people? The coldness you show to your stepfamily and your father? Parfait. The way you treat Princess Emmeline. Lucette. Why would they need to be treated any differently? Delora. You need to prove that you have some goodness in you, Princess. Some smidge of kindness. Lucette. Why? People only show you kindness when they want something from you. The instant they get what they want, they'll just throw you away. Parfait. Silence. What else would you like to know? How do I break the curse? Delora. The necklace you've got is one of Cinderella's glass slippers. To break the curse, you must get the second slipper. Complete the pair. Lucette. And how do I do that? Parfait. By doing 3 good deeds. Lucette. What? Delora. It's a very easy thing to do. At least, for someone who knows how to be good. Lucette, thinking to herself. 3 good deeds? What does that even mean? I wouldn't even know where to start. Parfait. Take heart, Princess. Goodness is innate in everyone. Delora. Are you sure that's the case with this one? Parfait. Delora, you are not helping. Delora. I'm a witch, and I think I have more goodness in my big toe than she has in her entire body. Parfait. Now you're just being mean. And she wasn't being mean before? Well, at least Parfait actually frickin' said something. That's fair. That's fair, Ice Starming says. Well, I do think Delora is too harsh. She really doesn't realize just how harsh she is. I mean, she knows she's being harsh, but I think she's even harsher than she realized. Yeah, that's a good point. I think you're right. I think Delora is stressed out and really worried, and I think Delora deals with stress by being sarcastic. And I think that she just has no concept. She's like, oh, I'm just telling it like it is, and is like, yeah, no, I agree. I think she's not really realizing how harsh the stuff she's saying is. Lucette. Silence. Parfait. For every good deed you accomplish, you will get a piece of the glass slipper. When you've gotten all 3, you'll complete the pair and the curse will break. Simple. Delora. I suggest you start by polishing that attitude of yours. Perfect. What else would you like to know? What happens if I don't break the curse? Delora. I think you already know the answer to that one, Princess. Lucette. Silence. Okay, I guess the concept is the implication. You know, she's like, I think you already know the answer to that, but I'm like, I'm not sure. Like, do we know the answer? I'm assuming that it's just the curse never gets broken. Like, if she ever breaks the curse, she's just, no one ever remembers she's the Crown Princess of Anchiel. But I still think, do you really, like, I think you know the answer is, like, really? Why would the game give me a question to ask and have them not answer the question? Anyway. Why are you 2 working together? Parfait. To answer that, we'll have to give you a bit of a history lesson. Delora. Oh, I've got this. Once upon a time, in a kingdom far, far away, there were 2 crystals. Parfait. Dramatics aside, there is one crystal in the kingdom called the Crystallum Lucis. It is powered by happiness and love. The other is the Crystallum Tenebrarum, powered by fear and anger. The strongest of the witches is the Tenebrarum Bearer. The strongest of the fairies is the Lucis Bearer. Delora. Parfait is the Lucis Bearer. I take in Parfait's frail and sickly appearance. Lucette, thinking to herself, she is the strongest fairy? Parfait. The Great War greatly damaged me. My powers are a fraction of what they used to be. And with no child, I have no successor to my burden. Lucette. What does a bearer do? I mean, okay, like, I get that it's, like, passed down through the family line, but, like, what do they do if they don't have a child? Like, I guess it just must be, like, guess you're the bearer till you die, and then it just gets passed on to randomly to another bearer? Question mark? Oh, okay, interesting. This thing about what would happen if she didn't break her curse is something they'll talk about more in another route. Okay, noted. Yeah, I guess they adopt someone, but yeah. Well, Lucette, what does a bearer do? Delora. The bearers regulate the energy of the crystals and keep the balance between darkness and light. Parfait. For centuries, the fairies and witches lived in harmony with the humans of the kingdom. Delora. Until a certain human decided to be a pest. Lucette. Who was he? Parfait. I knew him as Hans Gabriel Grimm. He wrote the fairy tales. As we've discussed, that is. Let's see how many fairy tale author names we can fit into one 3 name. Delora. And he started the feud between the witches and the fairies in the process. Lucette. How could a single person have so much power? Parfait. It was the power of his words. In Grimm's stories, the witches were always evil. The humans naturally grew to fear and hate them. They began to hunt them. Lucette. Didn't the witches fight back? Delora. We aren't allowed to use our powers to cause harm. But that all changed when the Tenebrarum Bearer decided revenge was more important than our promise. Parfait. The witches took over the kingdom. They created the fairy tale curse to spread even more sadness and anger, to fill the human heart with negative emotions. All to fuel the power of the Tenebrarum. The delicate balance of harmony between the crystals was broken. The witches and the Tenebrarum grew far stronger than they were ever meant to be. We had no choice but to fight. And then the Great War happened. The Tenebrarum Bearer was eventually defeated. The Great War was ended with the help of an unexpected ally, but... Delora. Many lives were lost. The good witches suffered horribly. We still have to stay hidden in hopes of having any kind of peace. So yeah, there is some stuff in that I find kind of interesting. Like, the very fact that Lucette I guess, I mean, after having literally been magically gaslit her entire life, it wouldn't immediately occur to her to look back on the context of that, but, like, they pretty clearly state witches took over the kingdom, and I'm kind of surprised that Lucette didn't have a moment to be like, I mean, I've lived in the castle my whole life, what part of the kingdom did they take over again? Ha! Everything changed when the Fire Nation attacked. Oh, okay, fair. The power of the bearer passes to the closest relative if there's no child. Okay. I mean, man, what would they ever do if a family tree, like, got wiped out? Well, not a thing that I think is within the purview of this game to worry about. Lucette, are you trying to make me believe that there are good witches? Parfait. The Tenebrarum can poison a heart and mind into darkness and cruelty. The witches put themselves at risk in working with the Tenebrarum, in maintaining harmony. Some inevitably are corrupted. Delora. Many good witches were corrupted during the war. Most remain that way. Parfait. Many do not believe it, but witches can be just as kind as fairies. Lucette. And yet it wasn't a fairy that cursed me. Delora. I've done good by cursing you, princess. You'll thank me when you've broken it. Parfait. Delora was not corrupted by the Tenebrarum. She is as good as they come. Hopefully you'll come to see that for yourself. Lucette. I doubt it. Delora. Apart from my own inherent goodness, Parfait and I are working together because we have a common goal. Lucette. Which is? Parfait. To restore the balance between darkness and light. Lucette, thinking to herself. 3 good deeds and I get my life back. Easier said than done. Out loud. You said Cinderella, didn't you? Didn't she just go to a ball and find a prince? What does doing good have to do with that? Delora. Going to a ball, finding a prince. It's all so old-fashioned. No fun in that. Parfait. Cinderella is a girl with a pure heart. She's always willing to help others, even when they are cruel to her. Right! That one was one that has given me pause before. That is a line I forgot about that has previously given me pause, and is still giving me pause, and I think says a lot about Parfait. Cinderella is always willing to help others, even when they're cruel to her. It couldn't possibly be that they were like, she was in like an enforced slavery situation. Like that she was being like, it's not kindness or being kind to others or doing nice things for them when they are tormenting you and forcing you to do those things for them. And the fact that Parfait is like, oh, look at what a good person she was, even though they were being mean to her, says something about Parfait's values, and I think really gives some insight on why Parfait allows herself to be walked all over and is not at all assertive. You know, speaking about it, I still have a question to which no answer was said. The game says that a bearer can't be a half-blood. It doesn't have... No, right. The game says that a bearer can be a half-blood. They don't have to be pureblood. So what would happen if a half-blood bearer died childless and the closest relative was a human? Would this human get the bearer powers, or would the powers pass on to another relative that was not as close? Interesting. Interesting thought experiment. Also, I started agreeing. Yes, I hate this line of Parfait about being good to people who are cruel to us. Yeah, like, maybe, like, you know, being treated like a maid in your own house under duress is not the same as being good and kind. Oh, fair. T'Pau thinks they mean the closest relative with the blood. But yeah. Turning the other cheek, yeah. But still, yeah, it's just a slightly uncomfortable line that I broadly disagree with. Lucette. Silence. Parfait. Anyway, I've brought some clothes for you. I'll leave them on the table. We'll be waiting outside. There are some people I'd like you to meet. Lucette. Silence. Out loud. I cannot believe this. I look down at my neatly bandaged feet. I have to admit that while sore, they are nowhere near as painful as they had been 2 days before. Girl. Here's some salve I made for you. It'll help with the pain. Flashback moment there. Lucette. Why would she even care? I was the reason she lost her job at the palace. Oh, she probably doesn't remember me as the princess. But still, she has no reason to do such things for me. I ignore the salve for the time being and gingerly stand up, testing my feet for pain. The injury is definitely healing. I slowly walk over to the table and change into the clothes that have been left there. The dress is nowhere near as luxurious as the ones that I wear in the palace, but it is still far improved from my rags. Lucette. All my life, I've never had to lift a finger. And now... Lucette, thinking to herself. I will not let them see how much they have rattled me. I refuse to break. Out loud. Just watch me. I will free myself from this curse. Lucette. Silence. Thinking to herself. What is this place? Oh. Yeah. There are several people in the room chatting amiably with each other. I notice the girl that has left me the salve by the counter serving drinks. But as soon as the people in the room notice me, the room falls into immediate silence. Lucette. Silence. I'm just trying to move this. I'm moving my phone so that it does not make button noises on the stream. Yep. Lucette. Silence. Woman A. Well, look what we have here. The Ice Princess herself. Lucette. Huh? They know who I am? Thinking to herself. Forgot to specify. Woman B. I didn't think it was true. Man. Cursed for her cold-heartedness. Woman B. That's to be expected. Lucette. Out loud. You remember who I am, and yet you still treat me like this? Woman A. Well, you aren't really a princess anymore, are you? You're one of us now, girl. You're one of us now, girl. Lucette. Silence. Parfait. Everyone, please. You shouldn't be treating a newcomer like this. Princess, let me apologize. They mean no offense. Yes, they do, Parfait! I cannot believe that. Not when the people Parfait is referring to simply smirk and shrug as I meet their gazes. Lucette. Out loud. What is this place? Parfait. Welcome to the Ch1 Tavern, a home for those with a fairy tale curse. Delora. You make it sound like some kind of holiday house. Parfait. Don't ruin my moment, Delora. Lucette. Ch1 Tavern? Thinking to herself. Parfait. The Ch1 was built 3 years ago when the number of cursed in Angiel continued to rise. The goal is to gather those affected so that they might help each other break their curse. Of course, I'm also here to provide help as necessary. Only the cursed and those allied with our cause can stay here. The evil and the wicked can never find this place. Lucette, thinking to herself. Most of the people here are cursed? Out loud. How come these people remember who I am? Parfait. The cursed are not affected by the conditions of someone else's curse. Your condition is simple. Everyone has forgotten you are the crown princess. But because these people are cursed, they still remember your title. Delora. It goes without saying that fairies and witches are also not affected. Parfait. Come, princess, let me introduce you to the few boarders we have at the Ch1. Parfait beckons the serving girl over. Parfait. This is Annis. She helps out in the Ch1 and does most of the cooking. Delora. I'm sure you understand why she's working here now. Lucette. Silence. Delora. I believe she deserves an apology. Annis. Miss Delora? What are you talking about? Delora. Don't you worry your sweet little head about it. You don't remember what this ice princess did to you. Annis. Huh? Yeah, so I'm assuming that Annis is like an exception, and she's obviously not cursed. I think she just got invited to work at the Ch1 because Delora felt personally responsible for her getting fired by Lucette on account of having ripped Delora's dress when Delora was a doll. Lucette. Or when Delora was posing as a doll, I suppose is more accurate. Anyway, Lucette out loud says, I have nothing to apologize for. Thinking to herself, clumsiness does not befit a palace maid. I only did what was necessary. Annis. Well, it's nice to meet you, Princess. I'm Annis Willow. I hope we get along. Lucette. Silence. Annis. Silence. Lucette. Silence. Annis. Delora. Really? This is how you're going to start doing good? Lucette. I don't believe I asked for your opinion. Parfait. Please, you two. No fighting. Lucette. Silence. I hold my tongue as Parfait leads me to two people whose faces are incredibly familiar. They are faces I have seen in the palace before. Parfait. This is... Lucette. Jurian Valiant and Garland Belrot. Jurian. Shocked. How did you know? Lucette. Both of you were in the Order of Caldera. Jurian. Silence. Garland. That's right. Lucette, thinking to herself. They were two of Sir Alcaster's best knights. It was a big surprise when they both left a year ago. I only found out recently that it was because they acted against Sir Alcaster's orders. They were stripped of their titles and dishonorably discharged from service. Out loud. What are you two doing here? Garland. We help the fairies. Parfait. They and Annis are exceptions and are allowed in this tavern without the curse. Jurian and Garland lend us their strength to help protect the Marchen. Oh, hi, Johnny One Take. Thanks for lurking. Lucette. Protect? Delora. From the witches, they'd do anything to make sure their curses remain unbroken. Lucette. And what about you? Delora. I am an exception. Also, I'm good. You keep forgetting the good part. Parfait. Remember, not all witches are evil. Delora. Your curse is a test. Lucette. A test? Delora. Originally, the wicked were cursed so that they could learn to change. Their curses were meant to teach them a lesson. I'm hoping your curse will teach you a lesson too, Ice Princess. I really am only trying to help you. Lucette. I don't need you to show me how to change. I just want my life back. Delora. Well, to do that, you'll have to break your curse. Lucette. Silence. Parfait. Try and make some friends, Princess. They might be able to help you break your curse. Delora. Oh, I'd love to hang around and watch the princess try to be friendly. Parfait. We have work to do, Delora. Delora. Fine. Try not to make any more enemies, Princess. The instant Parfait and Delora leave the room, the temperature drops several degrees. Now that I am alone, I feel the cold stares return. Disgust. Contempt. As if I am the reason they are cursed and have to take refuge in the Marchen in the first place. Lucette. Silence. Thinking to herself. Make friends? All I've ever had are my dolls. I've never needed friends. I will break this curse on my own. Out loud. I was told it was rude to stare. One man suddenly stands up, the anger apparent on his face. His hands clench and unclench into fists as he glares at me pointedly. Jurian and Garland place themselves in front of me, shielding me from the man. Jurian. You know the rules. What happened in the past stays in the past. Garland. And no one is allowed to harm anyone else in the Marchen. If you cannot comply, you're no longer welcome here. Man. Ch. No matter. The Ice Princess will get what's coming to her. He throws one last glare my way before sitting down again. And you know what, asshole? You're right. She will get what's coming to her, because what's coming to her is nice things. Jurian. Break the rules and you'll get what's coming to you. That goes for everyone here. Jurian's tone is cold and firm. There is no doubt that she means what she says. Lucette, thinking to herself. So these are the great knights of the Order of Caldera. The Marchen begins to settle down, and everyone eventually goes back to their conversations and meals. I walk towards an empty table, realizing that I am being deliberately ignored. I become immersed in my thoughts as I sit down. One thought, however, comes to me immediately. Thinking to herself, they hate me. They hate me somehow, when I've only ever left the palace twice in my life. How did this happen? Yeah. The only people who treated me with any respect were Annis, Jurian, and Garland. Lucette, thinking to herself, is it because they cannot remember who I am? Maybe being in the Ch1 is not such a good idea. I doubt anyone here wants to help me break my curse. They'd probably rather see me suffer under its weight. 3 good deeds? How am I supposed to complete 3 when I do not know if I can even accomplish 1? Beautiful lady. May I join you? I look up and stare in shock at the beautiful lady from the toy shop. Her beauty still manages to take my breath away. Lucette, thinking to herself, what is she doing here? Out loud, you were in the toy shop. Beautiful lady. Ah, yes, I was there picking up some items for a friend. I am humbled that you still remember me. Allow me to introduce myself. I am Miss Karma. Lucette. Your name is Karma? Karma. A suitable name for one as beautiful as me, no? Lucette. Silence. Waltz. Karma, your narcissism is going to scare the princess away. Lucette. Oh. You are that magician boy. Waltz. Boy. Karma. Oh, how appropriate. Boy. Waltz. Call me that one more time and I'll ruin that pretty face of yours. Karma. Shocked. Ah, yeah, I start agrees with me. Very well said. Lucette will get nice things because that's what she deserves. Yes. Karma. You would hit a lady? How savage! Waltz. Silence. Lucette. Silence. Waltz. Anyway, I'm Waltz Cresswell. I have the Neverland curse. What about you, princess? What's your fairy tale curse? Lucette. Silence. Out loud. Does everyone share what their curse is? Waltz. We talk about it freely in the Ch1. The whole point is helping each other to break our curses, after all. Hard to do that if we keep our fairy tales quiet. He pauses, then narrows his eyes slightly. Well, some people keep their fairy tales a secret. He eyes Karma briefly, cocking an eyebrow. The smile never leaves Karma's face. Lucette. Has anyone managed to break their curse? Waltz. I've been told that a few have. Lucette. A few? That's not very reassuring. Waltz. Well, at least the curses can be broken. Lucette. I cannot particularly say that reassures me either. Karma. What ails you, darling? Is it your curse? You can talk to us about it. Tell us what it is. Lucette. Silence. Cinderella. Karma. Oh goodness, Cinderella. Waltz. That explains the nature of your curse, only it's been reversed, hasn't it? Karma. Riches to rags. Lucette. That's one way of putting it. Waltz. Karma, you're not helping. You really are better off ignoring him, princess. He mostly speaks nonsense. Lucette. Silence. He? Karma. Silence. Waltz. Silence. Parfait. Princess? Parfait's voice takes me by surprise. I hadn't even noticed her entering the room again. May I speak with you? I'd like you to meet someone, though I'm sure you already know him quite well. Rod. Silence. Lucette. Rod? Rod. So you really are cursed. Parfait. I was the one that gave Sebi to Rod so that he still had some way to voice his opinions. Lucette. Sebi? Parfait. Short for Sebastian. Cute, isn't it? Sebi. It's nice to meet you, princess! Sebi's voice changes when it greets me. The tone it uses is lower whenever it speaks for Rod. Perhaps that is what Rod's voice actually sounds like? Lucette, thinking to herself. Wait, if he remembers me, does that mean... Rod. The mermaid's curse. Lucette. What? Rod. That is my curse. Lucette. Silence. Okay, Karma and Waltz here pretending like they don't know about Lusette's curse. They were in on the plan, so they know very well what her curse is. Fair. Well, I mean, I think they were trying to be friendly, and it kind of makes sense because, like, throughout all of the early stuff in Karma's route, like, he obviously knows the stuff about, like, you know, her mother and stuff, but he meets her where... I actually remember, like, I really liked that when they were having conversations, he was very good at meeting her where she was and just kind of rolling with, like, the place she was at without rocking the boat and, like, trying to dump too much information, so... Honestly, in a lot of ways, coming up to her and being like, okay, so what's your curse, is a lot less intimidating and, a better way to, like, break the ice than just being like, ha, yeah, here you got the Cinderella curse, eh? So I can appreciate, them making that, you know, pretending in that way. I can see why they would do it, and I don't think it was a bad call on their parts. Lucette. Silence. Thinking to herself, Rod has been mute all this time because he is cursed? Out loud. Does everyone else know? Rod. Obviously, they're my family. Lucette. Even the king? Rod. He knows as well. Lucette. So, am I the only one you never told? Rod. I didn't think you'd particularly care either way. Lucette. Silence. Thinking to herself. He is not wrong. Yet I cannot believe I did not know. I was left out once again. Out loud. What are you doing here? Parfait. I have been trying to help Rod with his curse. That is why he comes to the March End from time to time. Rod. But I don't even want... Silence. Anyway, I only came here today to confirm that you were truly cursed. I wanted to see it with my own eyes. It was a big surprise when I woke up one day and you weren't in the palace. An even bigger surprise when I found out no one remembered you. Lucette thinking to herself. It's been days since I was cursed. I wonder... Out loud. How are things in the palace? Rod. Livelier. Happier. Lucette. Happier? Rod. I've never seen my family happier than they are now. I'd say it's a good thing you're not a princess anymore. Lucette. Shocked. Thinking to herself. I'd always thought that Rod didn't really care about me regardless, but this is the truth? Yeah, it doesn't really matter because we're not doing Rod's route this time around. We already did that one. Check out the VODs on my YouTube channel. So, Lucette. So I'm just gonna pick the one I like better, which is her being direct. Lucette. So, I have to be cursed for you to open up about how you truly feel? Rod. The only reason I didn't say anything earlier was because Emmeline didn't want me to. I'm happier now. I'm happier too now that you're gone. I don't have to pretend to like you anymore. Lucette. Silence. Rod. I'm gonna return to the palace now. Lucette. More silence. Out loud. I'm gone and they're all happier. Parfait. Your very existence has been erased in the palace. They've never known you. That doesn't mean they're happy without you. Okay, I see what you're trying to get at, Parfait, but in a way it kind of does mean that. But I do think that Parfait is trying to say that, that it's not that you're gone and that makes them happy, which is fair, yeah. Yeah. Interesting that it seems many people here think that the right choice is to simply speak. Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of more about confronting people in general. Well, not confronting people so much as being like, hey, let's verbalize what's on our minds. Because it's hard to communicate when you don't know what the other person's thinking. So, that's just me. Ah, I see. Okay. I can understand where that's coming from. The right choice in that case is the hesitation because it shows that she is a bit hurt that Rod hates her. Okay, fair enough. Oh, also, bye to Powell. Thank you for hanging out. Yeah, in retrospect, that does make sense. Whereas, yeah, I think it makes total sense in context. I just think my default is when there are words to say them, but I can absolutely see why that would be why the hesitation silence. That's a really good point because it's more illustrative of the fact that she was kind of hurt by it. Lucette thinking to herself, even the king. Silence. What did I expect? Parfait. Silence. Lucette. Out loud. Why did you bring me here? The people in the Marchen, they... Parfait. I shouldn't have left you alone in there. I'm sorry. Yeah, you shouldn't have. I mean, Parfait is a champion of apologizing after the fact for things that she probably should have done in the moment. Lucette. You knew how they felt about me. Parfait. Silence. Lucette. What have I ever done to them? And then Parfait. Now isn't the right time to explain. Why not, though? Isn't it? Wouldn't this be a perfect time to sit her down and be like, hey, you should probably know why everyone hates you? No? Okay. Okay, fair enough. It's not just me. A lot of people choose to just say it. Fair. I mean, I like I said, I can totally see why the hesitation is the right choice, but I think it's not immediately obvious what the implication is. Like, the fact that the implication is that she hesitates because she's hurt. And so, because there's just, since people, like, you know, there were plenty of times where I made a choice and I'm like, oh, wow, I really don't like how that actually came out, because we don't get the full sentence of, you know, the full what she's saying when we make a choice sometimes, so it's not always clear what the choice is meant to be implying. So that's what I suspect is probably happening. Also, yeah, like, A, Parfait, you should have already explained it to her, and B, I maintain, now would have been the perfect time to explain. Like, a completely perfect time. Parfait, like, Rod has left, I presume that's why they wandered off, was to go talk with him. And this would have been exactly the right time for Parfait to be like, alright, come here, sit down, we gotta have a talk. But nope, that's just, you know, not... What was it? I think I called in a previous stream, I think I referred to Parfait as the champion of inaction. Yeah. So... Lucette says, when will it ever be the right time? Parfait. So many things have already been happening to you. I need you to be patient, Lucette. Lucette. Silence. Delora. Has the prince already left? Parfait. Yes, he has. Princess, we'll talk about this later. For now, you must focus on breaking your curse. Lucette. Silence. Delora. Did I miss something? Parfait. No. Delora. Silence. Right. Lucette thinking to... okay, fine. Lucette thinking to herself, maybe the fairy is right. I don't think I am ready to find out how I made so many people hate me. Yeah, I mean, it might be true that she's not in a great mindset at this moment to hear it, but I still just, I don't know that. I don't agree with everyone's choice to keep it from her. Like, it's one thing to have her mother have been gaslighting her entire life, but it's another thing for the people, all of the people around her for the past 4 years to have continued the illusion and not ever have tried to tell her otherwise. Like, just because you think someone won't believe you, like, isn't a reason, like, to not try? I mean, maybe in some cases it is, but there are plenty of people in Lucette's life where it would have been would have made way more sense for them to at least try. Anyway. Delora. Well, Parfait, I think it's time we got down to business. What should we do with her? Lucette. What are you talking about now? Delora. You, of course. You've got nowhere to go, right? Lucette. Silence. Thinking to herself. She is right. I think back to the days I spent on the street and shiver. Thinking to herself. I will do anything so long as I don't have to go back there. Parfait. The princess can stay at the Marchen with me and the rest of my boarders. Lucette, shocked. I'd almost forgotten what hope felt like. Parfait. But you'll have to work in exchange for a room. I celebrated too soon. Lucette. What? Parfait. Magic has its limitations, just like anything else. Money doesn't appear out of thin air, not even for a fairy. The Marchen doesn't attract many customers since only the cursed and a few others can enter. I sell my potions here and there, but I have several hungry mouths to feed and my funds are tight. Lucette. I thought fairies lived in luxury. Parfait, are you broke? Parfait, shocked. Delora. Ouch, even the Ice Princess can tell. Lucette. And yet you still take people in? Delora. That's always been how Parfait operates. She's good-natured to a fault. And yes, that is the thing. That is the thing that we keep saying. She is good-natured to a fault. To a fault. Anyway. This whole thing of you wouldn't believe is rubbish. I'm sure they have plenty of proof about the truth, but we know this is for plot reasons, so we'll have the big revelation, and you're right. And you know, on that note, I will try to give people cut people a little bit of slack on not telling her, just because it's obvious that that was for the purpose of, for like in-game plot reasons of, we want to have it as a big reveal for the player. So I'll try to not to make huge judgments on people's character just on the fact that they took so long to tell her. Because it is a little bit for the drama, more than it is thought put into the characterization of the choice not to tell her. Parfait. I'm told suffocating beneath my debt will be what kills me. Lucette. Why don't you just leave? I assume you make enough to take care of yourself. Parfait. Leaving someone who's in need of help? I could never. Delora. And that, princess, is how goodness works. I mean, it is good to help people who are in need, but you do need to take care of yourself, too. Like if Parfait, I mean, to be fair, I do think actually the way she has it worked out is great, is not unreasonable, right? Parfait will take in anyone who needs it, but will ask them to work in exchange, and on the whole, I actually agree with that. Just because it's a way to keep herself from totally drowning in debt, and then because if you never do anything to help yourself and you spend all your time helping others, you're going to be the one drowning, and then you can't help anyone. So, like, I can honestly get behind Parfait being like, I will take anyone and everyone who needs it in and let them stay here. I'm just going to request that they work for room and board. And it's like, that's fair. That's fair. I still strongly think that they could and should have found a job that Lucette would have come more naturally to Lucette, but like we can get into that when they actually get to that topic in the game. Anyway, Lucette thinking to herself, how goodness works? Parfait. It's not as if I accept freeloaders. All of my boarders help me run the Marchen and do errands. Delora. The princess has never worked a day in her life. I doubt she'll be useful. Parfait. If karma can be useful, anyone can. Which is actually even more interesting now, because it's like, we learned from Karma's root that Karma is kind of in the same position of her, would have learned a similar suite of things. And, like, this is where they get into the whole, oh, she's never worked a day in her life, and as Ice Starmie has pointed out before, like, yes, she has. She has undergone quite strict and rigorous lessons on, like, you know, etiquette and princessy things, and probably, honestly, like, running the kingdom stuff. Which is why my argument is, and shall forever be, that they could have asked her to help with, like, accounting work, like the finances of the place, which is a non-customer-facing job that she would have been very good at. So, that's just my personal opinion, though it's possibly also exacerbated by the fact that a lot of my job is finance, and I'm like, yeah, nah, that's what I'd be good at. Anyway, so Parfait says, if karma can be useful, anyone can. Delora. I have yet to see karma be anything but useless. I mean, Does Delora not know that Karma is helping to train the 2 knights that are in charge of all of the security for this place? Lucette. Silence. Parfait. Princess, you're more than welcome to stay if you're willing to help out. Delora. It's the least you can do in exchange for a roof over your head and 3 meals a day. Oh, and shoes. Lucette. Silence. Do I even have a choice? I'm trying to think if now might be a good point to break. So I've been streaming for about an hour and a half. So chapter 2, so this actually feels like kind of a good transition point, and I know chapter 2, last time I streamed it only took me like 45 minutes, and last time I streamed chapter 1, I want to say it took me more than 2 hours, but I don't think 2.5. I don't think all the way to 2.5, so this feels to me like a good break point, because I've been streaming for about an hour and a half. And I could go a little longer, but I meant to go through chapter 1 and try to figure out where the most natural break point would be, and I just totally forgot, so here feels like as good a place as any to call it for the night. Though it is a bit of a shame to stop before we even get to meet Rumpel, but like I don't think we meet him until quite late in the chapter, so yeah, I think this is not an unreasonable point to end, and I will save here and call it there for the day. So next week is going to be the second half of chapter 1 and chapter 2, which hopefully I've not misjudged, and then we'll just have the extra long stream next week, but we'll see. All right. So yeah, with that, thank you so much to everyone. I know T'Pau is now lurking, but like I know you'll also be watching this VOD later, so thank you so much for hanging out and chatting. Thank you as always, Starmy. I love having you here and having the back and forth. It's really great. And yeah, thank you everyone who has been watching and lurking. Thank you anyone who's watching this video or later. I really love this game, and I love getting to share the experience with other people, so thank you so much. And of course, I will be back at it next week, like I said, with the second half of chapter 1 and chapter 2, and all of chapter 2. And my next non-Cinderella Phenomenon stream will be this Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern, when I will be doing my usual Minecraft stream. So yeah, thank you again, everyone, so very much. I appreciate you all so very much. Bye!